Yeah, I mean, handling the conditions we knew was going to be a significant part of the game. Thought we were able to win the contested footy in the first quarter, and it's really difficult. It's difficult to get any territory if you're not able to win the ball in the first instance. So I thought that was something that the boys had to hang their hat on, and I think we were up in contested possession and tackles, and we just looked like we were ready for the contest, and we knew the contest would last a while. Because of the slippery conditions, and also because of Port Adelaide. So, I thought we handled it pretty well. Yeah, I mean, some of our key players really performed at a high level. I think collectively we performed pretty well, of course. But if you think of Maury obviously had a 30-something and kicked a couple of goals. I think Blake Hardwick's game was outstanding. I thought Josh Ward was really, really good around the ball. James Sicily had 12 intercept possessions. Jarman Impey was very, very good as a defender, and then he goes forward and manages to kick 3. So some key contributors obviously helps in games where moments are really going to matter. But consistency across the park was pretty good. I mean, every game at the moment is important. We're not quite at if you lose you're out stage, but we're not far from that. We know that we've been in this position before. Last year we thought maybe we could afford to lose one more game for the rest of the season, and with about 6 weeks to go, we ended up losing the one, and then we lost the final, which forced us out. So we're in a similar boat now. We can probably afford to lose 1 or 2, but we're not going to be able to let any game slide now. So the competition is so even, and we knew that we were coming home with a little bit of breeze. We were just in front, but we knew we were going to have to put the foot down if we were going to get the points.
Do you feel like you learned from last week's last quarter, where get on top and keep you guys scoreless there for the last little while? Do you feel like finish strong here was a good lesson?
Yeah, we certainly learnt some lessons from last week. I think the Freo game was fairly different with the crowd involvement and the way that the game was going to play out. The part of last week was we had the first 2 opportunities to score in the last quarter, and we just weren't able to capitalise, and they went down the other end and got their backs up. So it was a bit of a challenge, but we know that we're going to need to score in the last quarter in both games to win, and having that attitude is important when you get into close games.
Just on the conditions here, it was pretty wet when you're there for large parts. How important is it to be able to win in those conditions and be able to ground it out in those really tough moments?
Yeah, it's been an interesting year. I mean, so we play 4 games home and away every year here, and I would say out of the last 3 years before this one, almost every day had been clear, blue sky, beautiful conditions for footy. And then this year it's been a bit all over the place. So not just the luck of the draw, but we know that when we get games down here, we've got a level of support from the fans that we can rely on, and gives us a little bit of extra energy over the opposition. Yeah, I mean, we have done it one other game this year. I don't remember which game it was. He went forward and kicked a couple of goals, though, in that one as well. So the challenge in the early part of the year, we didn't have any talls really in the front half except for Marbs, and then Gunners is a quasi-tall, I guess. So we always were trying to put a tall in the front half. But now with obviously having Mitch and Kelsher and Gunners, gives us a bit of flexibility to use the smalls. So we've done it with Carl Lamont in a game as well. So having a bit of flexibility with the sub to try and generate some energy and some positional change is something we try to keep up our sleeve.
What do you make of the Jack Never celebration and statement of conspiracy?
Yeah, I heard Kenny say it's good. It's part of the theatre of the game, and I probably sit in the same boat. That that's what you're going to get from Jack. And I think the banter between the clubs, made a little bit more interest in the games. We finished the year 1 each.
Got the issue that your crowd getting into the post game, is that just part of
I'm not sure. I haven't seen that. Sorry, the game just finished. So apologies that I didn't sort of saw a few aeroplane stuff going on in front of me, but I wasn't sure how directed it was. So there's a line with that sort of stuff. I think it's part of the theatre, but if it gets too personal and it's disrespectful, then it's too far. But I'm not sure from what I saw today.
Just on Mitchell, it's like a long road back from ACL, tough time he didn't come back. How do you assess his journey back to footy?
Mitch has been, first class. I think he was injured for a long period of time, and then he came back, played the one game, and then was injured then for 12 months. So his positivity and vibrancy around the group, he still has given back to a lot of guys. And we play again on Thursday. So the fact that we did have any injuries and we were able to sub him out was sort of a best case scenario where he could get some minutes, he could play some AFL footy, get back to it, but we didn't have to expose him for the whole game. So I'm really pleased with how he went tonight. Not a great day for a key forward. Ended up picking a lot of balls up off his bootlaces, but wrapped with the way he's gone about it. I think our medical team, are first class when it comes to getting players not just back to play but back to perform. And he's in as good a physical nick as he's ever been, and I'm expecting big things for the last part of the year from him.
Just on that side decision, was that he was going to fight that right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we got Bailey McDonald, who's you saw a couple of great moments from him in the last quarter, and we really wanted to get him involved in the game, and we knew that the speed and power that he could produce would be helpful. And if we had the chance to get Mitch out of the game, we talked about it before the game, if things are going okay, it'd be great if he didn't play a full 4 quarters. So that gives us a few more options this week going into Thursday.
How does he find that balance moving forward with him and Kalsher and Marby? We've got so many top options. Presumably not all of them can play in the same game. What's, I suppose, the process there and deciding who gets there?
Well, I'm not sure that they can't play. I mean, we played Freo last week. They've got, Voss, Miss Tracy, they play the 2 rucks, so they've got the same amount of tools as that. So it is possible. I think Adelaide do it as well. So there is some scope to play the multiple tools. So we'll pick the team that we think will beat Carlton on Thursday. And what we do with, obviously, Kelsey's got his back stuff. Marbs is carrying a bit of groin stuff. Mitch is coming off the knee, and Gunners is 1,000 years old. So amongst them, we want to make sure that we can produce a team that is going to be potent enough to win every game.
Everyone's fascinated by how he's going to grow right with Zach Butters. You must have rated him.
Yeah, I mean, Zach Butters is as good a player in the competition as there is, and they had a couple of key outs, like with Horn Francis and Rosie going out. We knew that Butters was going to be absolute key for them. He's a real spirit player as well. So knowing that Finn was going to be able to get the job done, and I think when there's some stat about 24. If he gets under 24, they're going to struggle to win. If he gets over 24, then they're every chance. So I think he kept him to 18. He had 9 in the third, I think. So and a lot of them at sort of centre bounces where he's not tagging him. So I think the thing with Finn is he's so diligent. He goes about his role, but he's also a good teammate. He still does what he has to do from a team point of view. So I was wrapped with the role to keep a player like him down is near on impossible. So to try and limit him at least partially, I thought was important to the win.
Just on Port Adelaide, obviously there's that rivalry off the field thing, but on field you guys have had a lot of wins against them, 1-6 in the last 7 going into today. Is it good to just get that result against a side that you guys just haven't matched up against?
Yeah, they seems like their game styles caused us trouble over the last few times we've played, and there's been quite a lot of statistical anomaly games against them. So to be able to get, it was a tough. Are you going to read too much into this game the next time we play them? I doubt it. They'll have a different coach. It'll be different conditions. But it's good to get one back against Port, because they've obviously caused us some pain and trauma, and all the Hawks fans some pain and trauma over the last 12 months. I'm sure there's a lot of stories you can tell. Whatever draw you have, that's the draw you want. It's about how most finals teams go, but we haven't earned the right to be there at this point. We've got rest up now, have a few days, and get ready for Carlton on Thursday, and worry about what's after that. Thanks, guys.